Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Wave Spider-Venom. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today, let's continue looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Wave. As in front of us today, we have Spider-Venom. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the concept or the character design, you will be forgiven as it is a very recent upgrade for Peter that featured heavily in the 2014 Venom Wars storyline. But it is essentially that original Venom symbiote reconnecting with its former host Peter Parker. But this time around, Peter's a little bit more self-aware of what he's getting himself in for. So it's Peter Parker, Spider-Man and Venom. Spider-Venom. So it's an updated version of the symbiote costume in all black with a bigger white spider logo on the front. In regards to accessories, we do get all three sets of hands we've come to expect and a chain, which does make sense, I promise, I'll explain in a minute. And then we have an upgraded, unmasked Peter Parker head based on the modern art. So that is brand new. It's on the modern card back as well. On the back, we get a picture, the other 6 figures in this wave, and a write-up that says, as Eddie Brock and his son Dylan go to war over control of Venom, the symbiote instead chooses to bond with former host Peter Parker and becomes Spider-Venom. There you go, I essentially said the same thing. So without further ado, let's get him open. Here we have Spider-Venom then out of the packaging with those mentioned accessories on the table. We'll take a look at all of that shortly. And this guy, instead of swinging around on webs, he swings around on chains. And that's why we get a chain accessory, which is reuse from Wild Child. But what Marvel Legend body is this reusing? Well, it's a popular Spider-Man. It's the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, the Spider-Man 60th anniversary body, just now repainted in black and white. Of course, they have had to remove the web wings, so I guess you could technically say they've had to fill in those holes on the upper arm. And of course, he has a new head as well to better match the symbiote design. But otherwise, it is the Amazing Fantasy body, which people seem to like. So if you've got this guy, you know what to expect with this one. But let me get the tape measure out so we can see for ourselves. He stands, as you would expect, about 6¼ inches. Just under 16 centimeters, which is a little bit shorter than Renew Your Vows for this Amazing Fantasy body. So we'll come back to that in a moment. But for now, let's take a closer look at this one. Now, there's nothing crazy to dissect with this one. It is a regular sort of symbiote suit costume head, all black with the white eye sockets, and they are sculpted in there as well, and there's a little bit of a creasing near the nose, but otherwise a solid symbiote head sculpt. Cuts a mean silhouette, no complaints with that one. Can he look all the way up? Yes, of course he can, no problem there. That will help with swinging poses, looking down, and their rotation, etc. So yeah, that is your regular spider symbiote head. But what's more interesting is that he comes with a new Peter Parker head. Now, of course, everybody's mind's eye for Peter Parker is going to be a little bit different depending on your favorite frame of reference, but this is based off the art of this particular story. So it is very much a modern Peter Parker where he has the stylized crazy hair, but we do actually get the symbiote crawling up the side of his face as well, and his neck and his ear, so it better matches this symbiote body. So I think people are going to like this head sculpt. It has a very much like an anime vibe to it. I don't know why, it just does. So the hair sculpt is very solid, to be fair. And again, we've not seen this before. This is unique for this Marvel Legend. And yeah, I think people are going to like it. Let me know in the comments. But doesn't hinder the articulation either. Still get him looking up, still get him looking down, side to side, no problem. So no symbiote goo on one side of the face, and then you've got symbiote goo on one side. So I thought it was on both sides, but obviously not. So you have your options. You can either go for unmasked Peter Parker head sculpt or regular symbiote head. We will try some more head swaps soon. But before we do that, let's take a closer look at this new costume design then. So because it's black and white, if there's any blemishes, they're going to be really easy to spot. But so far, it looks like all the lines are nice and clean, which I'm happy to report. So you've got a much bigger spider logo on the front with those long legs that run round the body. If I lift the arm up, you can see they go under the shoulder and then around onto the spider on the back as well. And they have continued to paint on the actual butterfly, and there's some white on the shoulders as well. But it's all up top. There's a little bit on the hands, but on his feet, there's some there as well. So it's just like a trim of white on his feet, but there's nothing on the legs, nothing on the shins. So yeah, and it is pretty accurate to what you see in the comic book pages, so you cannot complain. It's just a modernised symbiote costume. That is essentially what it is. So in regards to accessories, he does come out of the packaging with a set of hands, but thankfully he comes with all 3 sets. We also get, you can't quite see them because they're all white, but I assure you they are swipping hands. And again, no, they are not invisible. They are wall crawling hands. We also have this chain accessory that I've mentioned. It's reused from Wild Child. However, this Spider-Man character does swing on chains, so it makes sense to include something to represent that unique element. But how's it going to pose up? So here's Spider-Man. So I'm just going to stick his arms sort of through the holes here and to see how it looks. So you guys can do better poses than me, but yeah, how does that look for a display? Does it look like he's swinging on chains? Now, in the actual comic book panels, he grabs onto the chain like so, but we don't actually get any grabby hands. So we have nothing to grab hold of the chain. We just get the sort of sprayed out hands and the fisted hands, which can still work as an accurate pose because the symbiote suit generates these chains. You don't necessarily need the swipping hands, but it would have been nice for him to grab them so you can sort of get some more sturdier poses. As can he swing on it? Nope. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? So here we have Spider-Man with those chains wrapped around his arms. Now, if the chains had a nice black wash to it, I reckon it would really benefit the sculpt of the chain, but otherwise it just looks quite cheap and plasticky. And yeah, you're going to have to sort of work your magic with this one. I can see what they were trying to do, and it sort of half works, but not quite. People are going to have to customize their own bendy wire chains and get them into some really nice dynamic poses. So yeah, I don't hate it by any means. I see what they attempted, but in execution, it's a little bit awkward. But yeah, let's see what you can do with it. Now, as this Marvel Legend is on a familiar body type, I was going to skip over Articulation again, considering there's tons of videos on it. However, I do appreciate that every video could be somebody's first. So if this is your first video, this is for you, all right? In regards to Articulation, let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? So the shoulders can go way past 90, which is really good for those swinging poses. You've got a bicep swivel and you've got a really nice double jointed pinless elbow. That's really clean. You've got a hinge on all of the hands as well, back and forth, and I've already showed you the head gets in great range. In regards to the butterfly joint, it goes a little bit back and a little bit forward. Like mine's a little bit stiff straight out the packaging, that's what she said, but it's definitely there. And then instead of a waist swivel, you get the crunch at the waist and you get this diaphragm ball joint up top. So that's where you're going to get your rotation and your tilt, etc. But you combine that with the crunch that's now at the waist and you get some great range. Like look at this, crunch that all the way down and you can literally get Spider-Man looking in between his legs. So, and it gets some great arch back poses as well for those web swinging poses, which is always appreciated. Moving down to the legs, there's enough gap there for the legs to go way past 90. And there's also a thigh swivel, a boot swivel, and then an ankle pivot and rocker. As we've come to expect, he's got double jointed, pinless knees, and can he kick his own back? Yes, of course he can. So if you haven't had this Marvel Legend body before, you will appreciate the type of range it can get. Like really nice. Look how close you can get the body to the leg right there. Like that is insane. If I move his arms back, get the arms up like that, let's bend the leg a little bit. Let's try and do a little pose here. So there you go. Like that is him leaping. And look how tight that is to the body. Honestly, it's a really fun Marvel Legends body type. I think people will appreciate this. So let's swing into comparisons then. Of course, let's start off with Spider-Man. So let's bring back in this 60th anniversary, aka Amazing Fantasy. Again, these two share the same body. Then we've got the Maximum Series and Renew Your Vows. So I've sort of put them in height order so you can see that the Renew Your Vows is the tallest, then Maximum Series, and then it's the Amazing Fantasy to better match that first appearance. So if I swap these two around just so you can see the height difference there between the Maximum Series and then swap these two around so you can see a closer look of the Renew Your Vows difference. So yeah, everybody has their favourite. There is no right or wrong answer. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favourite Marvel Legends Spider-Man body? Next up, let's bring in the Secret Wars symbiote suit. So this is like OG symbiote suit when he first found it during Secret Wars. And this also uses that exact same body. So all three of these Spider-Man Marvel Legends share the same body type. So all of them have a great range. But let me take this one out the way now so we can focus on the black and white costume. So we've basically got classic symbiote suit and then modern Spider-Venom hybrid. So the logos are a little bit different on the chest. That is your main difference. The new design has a lot more white as the legs sort of expand over the body a little bit more. There's white tips on the finger gloves and on the feet as well, where the previous one was basically all black apart from the spider chest. So yeah, subtle differences, but it is a nice modern upgrade, I suppose. But classic is always going to be the one. The advantage of sharing the same body means you can interchange the parts. So here we have the modern Peter Parker head, but on the Secret Wars costume, which I know some people will really like. So there is that. And again, looks really good, fits on there no problem at all. And then we've got that sort of small lens head sculpt that came with the Secret Wars Spider-Man on this new modern version. So you can do a little swap depending on your preference. Some more symbiote comparisons. This is the original symbiote costume that came on the retro card. So it's on that old retro carded body that has the pins in, unfortunately, but they're all black. You can't even notice. And then this is the updated pinless version, but it has the blue cell shading and it came in the VHS 2-pack with Carnage. Now it didn't come with that Venom goo. I think that is from one of the Venom figures. That's just a separate piece, but I just sort of put it on top to make it look like the Venom's taken over. So if you wanted to use that on this, I guess you could as well. And it looks pretty good with the Peter Parker unmasked head as well. And we've mentioned his name enough, so here we have a couple of Marvel Legend Venoms. I believe one of these is the one that came in the free pack. I think that's the one with the tentacles. And the other one came on the retro card in the 85th anniversary line. Both probably the best Venoms. Then we have two older Venoms, again, both of these on the same body. I think one was in the Astonishing Man Build-A-Figure wave, probably that one, and that was in the Monster Venom wave, and this is the one that came with that symbiote goo. So yeah, I stole it from him. And I mentioned Monster Venom, and he shall appear. So this is the deluxe version, not the Build-A-Figure, as that had more of a metallic purple shine to it. This one's more black. Here we have that big textured Venom that came in the Null 2-pack. I've just removed his wings, and then here we have the Agent Venom that came recently on a card back. And then for no reason at all, here we have all of those Venoms on the table together. And then here we have a couple of black and white costumes that are not Venom related. We have the Future Foundation sort of negative version, and then the Negative Zone. I honestly can't remember which is which, but there you go. That's a better look, right? Keeping the black and white theme, but this time a few females. We've got Shriek and Mania. How about some Spider clones? Here we have Ben Reilly and Kane. And here we have a couple of recent modern characters that also came on that Spider-Man card back. We've got Chasm, which is essentially Ben Reilly, and Hallows Eve. Here we have Peter Parker and Mary Jane. I've shown so many Venoms, it's only fair you get a little Carnage. Here we have Doom and Cap. Here's Miles and Black Widow. And here we have the only other figure I've reviewed from this wave so far. It is Spider-Man 2099, who is on the Renew Your Vows body, so he is a little bit beefier and taller. Go and check out the review for him and keep an eye on the playlist for more to come. Wrapping up with the Who crew, we've got Frogman, Tigra and Jeff. And last but never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Spider-Man wave, Spider-Venom. Now, like most, when this was revealed, I wasn't instantly familiar with the character design or the concept, but I always use that as an excuse to dive back into the source material and be inspired by the action figures to learn something new, and that's exactly what I did here, as now I know this is Peter Parker reconnecting with the symbiote and becoming Spider-Venom once more, and he has those chains, which is a carryover from Dylan, Eddie Brock's son, who had the Venom symbiote before him. So I always like learning something new, and I'm intrigued by the Venom Wars story, but there's always so much going on in that world. Eddie Brock's like in space or something now, I can't quite remember, but you let me know if it's worth a read and catching up on in the comments below. But at the end of the day, it's still a nice looking Marvel Legend, it's still a Spider-Man design, which is fair game for your Spider-Verse shelf. You don't even need to know the origins of this, it can just be a fun looking Spider-Man design swinging in the background of your display. So you let me know in the comments below, will you be picking this up? Have you read that original story? Any interest in this at all? Let me know. And if you like Marvel Legends, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit all in the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. There are a couple of other tiers as well you can get involved in, support the channel, be a part of the channel. It is so simple. Follow me on Instagram, it's Dan Who. I'm on X, Dan Who Reviews, and I will of course see you on the next one.